Before we get into this episode, we want to let you know that there were some technical difficulties with the audio file. The sound quality may be off in some places, but we appreciate your understanding and patience, and we still hope you enjoy this next episode.
We wanted to create a fun, non-judgmental space where women can talk about their shared experiences.
Here, we will normalize the challenges we face as females living in a society that dictates unrealistic and outdated expectations on what a woman should be.
Together, we hope to cultivate a supportive community of women who empower one another to courageously live unapologetically.
A quick disclaimer before we get started. Although Cindy and Danielle are licensed therapists, this podcast is not to be interpreted as therapy or a replacement of therapeutic services. It is strictly a conversation between two women about their experiences in the world today. If you liked today's episode, please make sure to like and subscribe below. Also, follow us on all social media platforms at Unapologetically Females. With that being said, we hope you enjoy this next episode.
We're back for another episode.
We are.
Today we're talking about, the topic is things that we wish we knew in our 20s. Which, I mean, the list could be endless, right?
Right. This was actually a suggested topic from one of our listeners, and I like it a lot. Well, one, I have two kids that are in their 20s. And then also my oldest daughter loves this book, The Defining Decade by Meg J.
I've heard that.
Yeah, and it talks about how it kind of like the psychology of your 20s and why your 20s are actually hard.
Oh, so hard. They really are. When I look back, I'm like, God, they were so hard.
They are. And what she kind of talks about, and it makes so much sense, is that, and I'm very much putting this into my own words, but it's that as we grow up, we constantly have a given group of people or friends to walk into all the time, right? So initially it's our family, and then we start preschool, and then it's our classmates and our peers, and then we go into elementary school, high school, if we go into college, right? So we have these groups of peers and community, that are just made for us, right? It's just built in. We don't have to make any decisions. This is who you have, and this is, who your chosen pool is, right? And then after you graduate college, or after you graduate high school and go into a career, or people start to disperse, and maybe your friends move to different places.
You start creating families.
Maybe you move to a new place for a career.
Or maybe you're the person that is not in a relationship and starting a family. It's just different phases of life.
And so it's really a time to reflect on who am I, and where do I find my people?
Well, because you're moving as a pack, right? For so long. Everybody's on the same playing field, essentially. We're at the same spot.
Same age,
same life, same and life milestones too, in a lot of ways. We're graduating high school together, we're going to college together, we're graduating college. All of those different milestones. You have this pack that is following along on that same.
You're all experiencing the same timeline.
Yeah. Whereas once you finish college, you all are obviously still the same age. However, your timelines look different for your next milestone. So whether it's going into a career, or whether it's finding a partner, getting married, and having babies. I mean, how old were you when you had your first?
I got pregnant at 25.
Yeah, so I
had her at 26.
Yeah. And that brings a whole new timeline.
And I was the first.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had a lot in my 20s, just personally. I was married to somebody who was going through medical school, and so our finances were limited. Even though I had a great job in pharmaceuticals, he had no time. Like, people that were getting married, I went to weddings by myself all the time. I did a lot of stuff by myself, socially, because he just was embedded in medical school. And and so that was hard because I was watching everybody else, with having a great time and going out with their partners or whatever, and I'd show up to everything by myself. And then we got pregnant young, and I was the first out of all of our friends to have kids. So that kind of, I had to find a new group of friends who turned out to be older because I was young when I got pregnant, and most people are having babies now in their 30s, or So that was a challenge as well. And then my friends that didn't have kids didn't understand why I couldn't do certain things, or my 20s were interesting to navigate for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, I didn't have kids in my 20s, and I think that although I had a lot of fun, they were hard in the sense of figuring out who I was. And I think even, meeting new people, I think at that point in my life too, throughout my 20s, recognizing that maybe the friendships that I had for so many years, I outgrew them, or we outgrew each other.
Right, which goes back to the point of, we make these friends in these situations where we're just thrown into a pool of people, right? So it's like, here's your pool of people, you choose who you feel you can get along with, or whatever, right? So those friends, it makes sense that you might outgrow each other because you were friends because you shared the same zip code,
right?
Essentially,
right. Yeah. So yeah, I think, and then navigating, like, how do you move on from a friendship that you've had for so long, and but yet you're still so young. I mean, in your 20s, you're so young. You're still
frontal lobe is not fully developed.
All of those.
You're still making some maybe not wise decisions.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I was making some not wise
decisions.
A lot of, just not taking care of myself. I mean, I remember I would go out and stay out till the bars closed, and I had a job, and for some reason I wanted this schedule, because we got to pick our schedules every 6 months or something, or something along those lines, and I decided that the 7 a.m. or 7:30 start time, so I could get done by 3, I think.
Right. So you could get to the bar.
Was the way to go.
And Rita's like, yeah, sounds good.
So I would, this is awful, but I would literally come home and get ready for work, after the bar, and then try and sleep in.
Stop it, that's amazing.
Sleep in my clothes for work and be ready for work. So all I really needed to do was just get up and brush my teeth. Because I was only getting a few hours of sleep.
Wow.
At that point.
Did you
this is awful.
Sleep still?
Yeah.
So even the quality of sleep wasn't.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And so, I think back on that and I'm just like, what were you doing? What were you doing? And I can't even imagine that now. I would be a wreck. But just things like that I think are obviously, people do it, right? Yeah. You just live hard in your 20s sometimes, you have fun, you have a good time. But I just look back and I'm like, whoa. Those were, so it's just, again, hard in the sense of, I think, figuring out who you are, figuring out who your people are. Those relationships are changing. Our lives are no longer on the same trajectory. And making mistakes, meeting people, meeting partners, and and having fun.
And feeling like you should be doing certain things, right? That I should all over myself in my 20s.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I think one thing that I wish I knew then that I know now is you don't have to have it all figured out.
You don't. No.
You do not have to have it all figured out.
And also, it's okay. Like,
Yes.
that's the other thing is, like, it's going to be okay. And I wish that I would have been able to, I think, accept that and go, like, I'm going to be okay. Things are going to turn out okay.
Yeah.
Nothing stays bad forever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
life can change in 10 seconds,
in
30 seconds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I keep, like, saying this to, and trying to instill that in my daughter right now and telling her, like, there's never been a storm that has lasted forever.
Right.
The rain eventually stops. The sun does come out again.
And you've made it through all of your hardest times
Yes.
so far.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so just really trying to remind her of that, but I wish that that's something that I would have absolutely wished I could digest back then and accept, because, you know, having some hard times in my 20s and feeling like it will never get better,
Yeah.
you know, and
For sure.
you know, those really just dark moments where you're like, oh, this is hard, and I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Right. And those hard times taught you a lot, taught us a lot, yeah. I also wish that I had been less responsible. I made choices thinking that, all right, I need to go into this job or this career or follow this path because now that I'm graduated and now that, you know, I need to be a responsible adult. And I was talking to my younger daughter the other day. She's like, I don't 100% know what I want to do with my life. And I'm like, you don't need to. I said, when I graduated college, I wanted to go dance on a cruise ship.
Yes, you did.
Right?
Yeah.
I should have gone and
Hell
fucking danced on the cruise ship.
You know how much sex happens on cruise ships too? Just to let you know, I've learned all about it. I'm working with somebody currently that she was on employed on a cruise ship, and she has told me so many stories, and I'm like, that sounds incredible. Everyone should go work on a cruise ship.
Right. I mean, in your 20s, like, how great would that be, right? But I was in a relationship, and I felt like I needed to be, you know, fully committed and responsible and plan my future. And I should have danced on the cruise ship. I should have traveled. I should have gone to Europe and, you know, and it just felt like irresponsible at the time to do that. I felt like I needed to make responsible decisions, and some of that was my, you know, messaging from my family or things that I witnessed from my family, and some of it was going into a role that I felt like I was supposed to fulfill. And now, I mean, maybe that's why I'm in my midlife crisis. I don't know.
We all find our time.
We all find our time. Maybe I should go interview with a cruise ship. I don't know.
Cruise director.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Julie McCoy from the Love
Let's
Ship.
do it. I did not necessarily have that problem.
Which I love.
I was never, I made a lot of reckless decisions and irresponsible. And I look back because I didn't do the traditional path of, as soon as I graduated high school and going to college and, you know, finishing it like quickly and all of those things, which when I was doing it, I kept going, I'm such an idiot. I should have, you know, when I was 18, but it is what it is. It all worked out, right?
So just to clarify, you took a gap year, essentially.
Gap years.
You took a few gap years, but it's kind of popular now. People do that.
Yeah, I if we want to call it. I love that.
You were ahead of the...
Yeah, I was a trendsetter.
You were.
And, you know, I look back, and again, there's many reasons why it probably would have behooved me to go right after high school and finish and all the things. But I just was not I don't just mentally in a space to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking to have a good time.
Yeah.
And
you did.
And I did.
Yeah.
I had some good times. Obviously, as an adult and a mother and all the things, I could go, gosh, probably would have been easier. Your parents would have paid for it at the time. All the things, where
it would have been more sensible to
sensible.
Yeah.
But who's sensible at 18?
I think I was too sensible.
You probably were.
Yeah, I think I was. I mean, not in college. Don't get me wrong. I had a great time in college. So 18 to 21, I guess. But after graduation, I felt like I needed to do the adult thing.
Yeah.
You just start adulting. And I don't think you should be fully adulting in your 20s.
No, you're just not right. It's, again, back to just brain development,
Yeah.
right? Like, you're not developmentally able to fully come into adult decision making.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So you're gonna make mistakes along the way. I even think emotionally, we're changing so rapidly in our 20s. I think that we're actually starting to feel the weights of stress in different ways. So
Yes.
there's stress,
Responsibility.
obviously. Yes.
Yeah.
The weight of it though.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I'm stressed out about finals, or I'm stressed out about my sport, or, things like that. Whereas now it's, in your 20s, you're starting to feel the weight and the magnitude of like, well, shit, if I don't do this, then I can't pay my rent,
Right.
or then I can't, insert big life decisions or consequences if you don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that it's probably the first time that you really feel that weight of what the implications are of not being responsible.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it can be, I think, a really heavy time, and so it can affect you emotionally. And what does that, and then I think that we're then now, at that point, you're now learning how do I manage stress, because we all manage it differently. So now that we're quote unquote adults, do we manage it by drinking? Do we manage it by smoking pot? Do we manage it by sleeping? Do we manage it by avoiding? Do we, I think we start to learn
Our coping skills.
Yes.
And not all of them are healthy.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
which ones are working for us and which ones are working against us.
Right. Now that you say that, I really became a runner in my 20s, and I think that was probably the reason, right? Like,
So responsible. See?
I mean, who would have thought I was the responsible one? Really, that surprises me. But yeah, I just ran to like kind of get some of that pressure off, release some of that pressure.
Yes.
Yeah, but not to say that I didn't also consume alcohol and go out and party and have a good time.
Right.
But not after I became a mom.
Yeah. I think that something that my dad instilled in me was to never depend on a man financially.
Yeah, and I wish somebody had told me that.
And so I think in my 20s, like, that always was in the back of my head. So it was like, I have got to figure out what that looks like.
Yeah.
There were absolutely moments where I'm like, fuck it, let's depend on a man.
Right,
Like,
right. But this is why you're the breadwinner and I was the bread eater. Yeah, it was. Is the
It worked out.
It worked out. Yes, it did.
But I even think, that trying to figure out what that meant for me, right?
Right.
How is this going to look? How am I going to
Make that happen.
make that happen? Even as you were saying, your youngest daughter's like, I don't know what I want to do, and I didn't either.
Yeah.
Which was partially why I didn't go to college right after high school. And then when I did, I was like, I'm going to be a communications major. Just, like, why not?
I'm a good communicator.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another lesson I wish in my 20s.
Communication. DBT skills.
Everything doesn't always have to be said. And it doesn't, like, you can get away with saying a lot of shit if you know how to say it right.
Yeah, true. It's about how you communicate.
How you say it.
Yeah, and see, again, I was the opposite. I was a total people pleaser. So I didn't say half of what I wanted to.
Oh, I said everything. And I would just say, sorry, I'm just brutally honest.
Did it ever kick you in the ass? Like, did it ever backfire on you?
If my mouth got a little ahead of myself with my parents, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, with others, I'm sure there were people that were like, she's a freaking bitch. But in my 20s, I was just so unrefined, and I think it's a time for us for all of us to figure out who we are and all those things. But I do think that I had to learn, because you can't go into the workforce, especially when you're trying to make a career out of.
Right.
And be like, I'm just brutally honest. You know,
although I appreciate
you suck at your job.
I really appreciate your honesty.
So I think I've really, I've really learned the value of listening, but also knowing what to say and when to say it and how to say it. Timing matters.
Yeah.
Audience matters.
Yes. Validating the other person's.
Yes. Using our therapeutic skills,
yes.
you know, in conversation.
I tell the teens I work with all the time, you guys are so lucky you're learning this now.
Yes.
Right? Like,
yes.
How to communicate. Yeah.
It is so important. I also really leaned into learning about leadership and leadership skills, and so I think that also really helped me. It's one of my favorite things, and the way like the way that my career has evolved is, you know, I thought when I went to school, it was like, I'm going to be a therapist, I'm going to work direct care with patients, and that was going to be my trajectory. And then that leadership element came in, and like being able to really gain the trust of your employees, and people want to work with you, you know? Yeah. And so, I don't know, I think that's really important. So, I don't think I understood what that was in my 20s, what leadership meant.
Right.
You know, be a leader, not a follower. They always say that, right?
Totally.
And it's like, what does that mean? And I don't think I could have really defined that.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was answering some questions for an interview for someone who's writing a paper on graduate school, and one of the questions was, what do you like best about the career that you chose, or the master's degree that you chose? And I think that psychology can be used in every element of every career, right? Attorney, business person.
Because you're working with people.
You're working with people.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you never regret having a psychology major or master's or whatever, because it helps you to learn how to best interact with people.
Yeah. And there are people that I have worked with that are execs, you know, that have been in the fields, you know, and they don't.
Clearly did not have a psychology background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who just don't know how to interact with people. And
very smart people.
Very smart, yeah.
But social skills or communication skills are
absolutely
lacking.
Yes. Leadership skills lacking. You know?
For sure.
And so it's so important. I think those skills and leaning into that and learning, and the earlier you learn them, I think it benefits you once you figure out, well, it benefits you all around, but really, you know, in your career too, in moving forward, whatever it is,
right.
you know, that you want to do.
So maybe that's one thing I wish I knew in my 20s was how important therapy is.
100%.
Right. Like,
I started therapy in my 20s, so that was the first time I started going, and that's something that I think everyone should do.
I agree. Like, especially in your 20s when it's so confusing and it's so hard to know what direction to take, and you're feeling the level of responsibility and the weight of that, and you're pulling away from, you're in a way from your family and things like that, and starting out on your own. I think therapy is really important.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I also think as you figure out or try and navigate like who you are and relationships, right? Like romantic relationships.
Yes, for sure.
You know, there's a lot of fish in the sea.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you don't have to settle.
To find your person.
Yeah, you don't have to. Just because one person didn't work out doesn't mean that the next one isn't, and also that there's not a timeline. There's not a rush to find the person you're.
Yeah, you're a great example of that.
Yeah, I mean, like it's. I have had boyfriend after boyfriend for quite a few years.
I was a leapfrogger when it came to boyfriends. Yeah, for sure.
And there was a relationship. I broke up with somebody. We broke up. I don't know. I was like 22-ish, I think, and had probably been in a relationship since I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
Around there, something like that.
I was 13. Never without a boyfriend from age 13.
Oh wow. So I was in relationships, and I was in I don't know, it had been a few years in my early 20s with somebody, and we were living together, all the things, and then we broke up, and I think I was about 22, and
That's so young to listen.
I know.
I mean, I guess I got married at 24.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I look back on that and I'm like, you were a mess. Like,
What made you live with them? Besides the sex. Okay, just the sex.
My poor father.
Oh, sorry, I forgot he listened.
Yeah, it's okay. He's our biggest fan. He can stop listening if this is too much. I think he was like where I was at in life. He was a lot older than me.
Okay.
So
I'm not gonna go into that.
yeah, he was a lot older than me. He had a career.
Were you looking for a caretaker? I mean, I know I fell into that.
I think so at that point. Yes, I think so at that point in time.
Yeah.
It's just where I was at in life.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we broke up when I think I was 22 if I remember. It was because I know that I remember I went with him to Vegas for my birthday, for my 21st birthday. So it was at least 22.
Yeah.
And I swore after that I was like, I am going to be single for a year, like at least a year. I'm not going, like, I'm just gonna have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And
you did.
And I had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of fun. And then I had fun for like a few years.
Yeah. And then you went back to school.
I did go back to school at a certain point in that time frame.
Impressive.
I was still having quite a bit of fun even when I went back to school.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say I took school really seriously when I went back. I did great. I got straight A's for all of my education after that, and in my master's, like everything.
Yeah.
And I went straight into my master's after I graduated, and like a week later started my master's program.
Wow.
It was like back to back.
Mm-hmm.
So during that time, and that was also during that time is when I met my husband too.
Oh, yeah.
So he'll probably hate
You were
it.
in your 20s when you guys met?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in my, it's been,
But you guys had
we met 17 years ago.
you had like a meet cute at a wedding, and then you had time off, and then another one. Like there was, right?
I love that you called it a meet cute.
It is.
It is. Or also a one-night stand.
Okay. I'm trying to be better because your dad's listening.
This is so good. Yeah, I met him, I believe, in my year of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think. So it was my year of fun, where I wasn't going to date anyone,
Mm-hmm.
and we met at a baptism.
That's what it was. Not a wedding, a baptism.
A baptism. We did. And he came in from out of town. He was safe. Lived in California at the time.
Yeah.
He was safe.
He wasn't far enough away. Yeah.
He just kept coming back.
That's one thing. You know, you're saying that you were single and you didn't want a relationship. I wish that I had a boyfriend in college who, when we broke up, he said, you just need time by yourself to figure yourself out, to figure out who you are. And I jumped straight into the next relationship. And I wish in my 20s that I had just taken time to figure out who I was. And time by myself and not be defined by a relationship.
Do you feel like post-divorce you're now
Yes.
you're now in that phase of figuring out who you
totally
are?
in that phase of figuring out now. Yes. And it's almost easier because of the life experience that I've had and where I'm at, it's just different.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for sure.
I think that although my 20s were, fun, I think that by the time I got to my later 20s, I knew what I wanted my life to look like. You know what I mean? Like I didn't necessarily, I wasn't there by any means,
Right.
but I knew I wasn't there as an individual. I wasn't there financially, emotionally, but like I knew what I wanted my life to look like, and so I knew what the goal was.
You had your vision board in your head.
Right, and I also knew I knew the life adjustments that I needed to make to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's like I was throughout my 20s trying to figure out who I was, having a lot of fun doing things. Although there were some pretty dumb things I did, and again, just not taking care of myself, not getting great sleep, like all of those things.
Right.
And making some questionable decisions. I never did anything that had like lifelong impact.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Where I made such a poor decision that it
affected your life trajectory.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Right.
Like,
yeah. For sure.
Because it happens, and it's not because someone's a bad person or any of those things. It's just
again, life can change in 10 seconds.
Exactly. But I think through that decade, every year, especially I think once I kind of passed that midway hump, like 26, 27, 28, 29, I really noticed that I grew more into myself and like, what am I going to stand for and what am I not going to tolerate and what type of people do I want to surround myself with and how am I going to achieve the life that I want, and really actively started to work towards that.
Yeah. As we're talking, it's bringing up, we've been talking a lot at my work about attachment styles.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that they can change over time, but I was definitely an anxious attachment style.
Mm-hmm.
And I was clearly, because I jumped from relationship to relationship to relationship, but I was always so afraid of being alone.
Codependent.
Yeah. And
yeah, codependency is a big one, I think, in your 20s.
For
I think
sure.
it really.
Yeah. And if I was in a relationship, I was so afraid of losing the relationship because then it was almost like a judgment of myself,
Mm-hmm.
and So I changed myself in order to be who I needed to be to stay in the relationship.
Right. That is the definition right there.
Right.
Codependent, right?
Yeah.
That's something that I think that I have tried so hard to not be, you know?
Yeah. But I wish that I had that guidance.
Yeah, well, but then I had children.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I don't know, I never anticipated this, but that whole saying of like, you're only as happy as your least happy child
So true.
is so true.
True.
And that is codependent. I am codependent on my children's happiness.
100%. Yesterday, I mean, I rarely have anxiety anymore since leaving my old life and entering this new life. I had anxiety yesterday. I think it's hormones. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
Well, but I texted my youngest, who I'm very connected with, and I was like, I just need to make sure that you're okay. Right? I was sure that my anxiety was coming from her having a hard day or something.
Your kids not being okay.
Yes, and both of them. I feel like I'm constantly trying to check in with them to make sure that their life is going well, and is there any way I can help, and how can I, But it was so interesting. I had to check myself yesterday. No, your anxiety is.
This is about you.
About you.
Yeah.
But
freaking kids, man. That's something I wish I would have known in my 20s. Really, what it means to be a mother and a parent, not just a mother. What it means to be a parent and a wife. What that actually, and I know that you will never understand until you live it. No one can actually tell you really anything. But I had no idea the weight, the stress that I caused to my parents, where I'm just sneaking out of the house. It's no big deal. We live in a very safe community.
Right.
You know what I mean? Why are you worried?
Oh my gosh, the things we did.
Just stupid stuff.
Yeah, I know. Which I guess is another thing that I wish I had known in my 20s was I wish that I took more time. I think I would have been a better mom initially had I taken more time figuring myself out in my 20s, right?
Yeah, because you were trying to be a mom, a wife, and learn who you were at the same time. That's really hard.
Yeah, for sure.
Really hard.
So I think that sometimes society tells us we need to hurry up and have kids because fertility and age and all that stuff, which some of that is true for sure. I mean, that's science, and it doesn't always necessarily mean that you're ready. And that you're going to do a great job.
Right. Yeah, there's, I think you do the best you can, right, in the moments that you're in, with the time that you have, and the resources that you have, and
Exactly.
I think that, your kids turned out just fine. You know what I mean?
My kids turned out great
Yeah.
against all odds.
Yeah, but I mean, you were navigating a whole new life at 24 years old, 25 years old, and trying to be, a mom, a wife, and figure out who you are,
and support a family,
right,
financially, and all the things. Yeah, no, it was a lot.
It was a lot, but yet it worked out.
It did.
And I think
and that goes back to, you said that you've been telling your daughter about
it doesn't rain forever. There's never been a storm in the history of storms that has lasted forever.
Or as Glennon Doyle says, we can do hard things.
We absolutely can do hard things.
So, when hard things happen in our 20s, I think that we don't have as much of the capability to realize that it's going to be okay.
Right. The foresight to go this works out. I'm going to get through this.
Right.
I won't feel these feelings forever. It won't feel like a dark clouds following me forever.
Right. Yeah. And I wish I knew that so much more life to live.
Oh,
So much more life to live. Right?
Also, even, I mean, in your 20s too, I think back, and this applies to really every phase of life too. I even, like, going back to my daughter and, you know, things with friends, and it's like, most of these people you probably will not even.
But in the moment.
In the
it
moment,
feels
yeah.
So
this is your
important.
circle. This is your
Yes.
circle. This is your community. So it's really hard. But yeah, even mistakes you make in your 20s that I think
That feel like they're life altering.
Yes.
Or going to be life altering.
yes, or relationships that end and you feel devastated by that. It's like,
Yeah.
it will be okay.
When one door closes.
Yeah, it will be okay. And so I really do think, although there's probably, we can go on forever with a million different things
Yes.
we wish we knew in our 20s
Yeah.
that we know now, I think really the biggest takeaway is that it will be okay. Life does continue to go on. Things do get better. You know, the sun does come out.
It does.
You
Yes,
know.
for sure.
There will be hard things in your future, and you will get through those too.
And change is inevitable.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it
So
is.
embrace it.
Lean in, lean in. Well, thanks for listening. As always, I'm Danielle.
And I'm